slowly, can you tell us about this whole experience that you went through in terms of, what you were struggling with, and after the silver line experience, or after you came to us, the post silver line experience? Can you just speak on it?
Alright, doctor. Initially, I wanted to. I researched on bariatric surgery a long time back. I wanted to do it, but there was always this doubt, fear of going under the knife. So that was keeping me back, like holding me back for some time. After that, I grew very heavy, and then I had to consider some options to get rid of the fat, the obesity problem, because my eating habits were not actually all that great, and I couldn't afford to lose my health that way. So I reached a point where I was struggling so much in all parts of life, and I was thinking, okay, maybe it's time that we did something about the health side, and that's why I decided to do bariatrics.
So just for record, can you just tell us what was your weight when you initially?
The topmost weight I reached was 183 and 180, and when I came to Silver Line, I tried to struggle to lose a bit of kilos, maybe 3 kilos I lost, and at the start of the operation was 176.
I think the body mass index was around 61 or so.
64, that was my BMI, and it was really going to, scaling to that heights where it was becoming uncontrollable, and obviously my drinking habits, my smoking and all that.
Do you think that was partly due to the frustration that
I never had a problem. I never had a problem as such as like having an inferiority complex with regard to the obesity that usually people have. The stigma of when people associate you with a person who has inferiority complex. I never had that in college and all that. Probably it started when I started practicing in my profession over here, because people look at you in that perspective, and so the only thing that people wanted to ask me was not regarding my profession or not regarding my personal life or anything. Everything was always focused on one thing, that was about my size, how heavy I was. My waist was like 64, my chest was 56, and it had bloated to that proportion. And then I considered the option of doing it, and my parents had to be convinced. That was one of the major stone blocks for me, because although I was convinced that I would go for this surgery, it was difficult to convince my parents. And once I got some videos from YouTube, and I downloaded them on the internet, and I showed them that this is like a keyhole surgery. It is like a vertical sleeve, and your stomach is reduced to this size, and then naturally your intake becomes less, and your body uses that energy from the stored fat, and that's how you reduce. So the first part I would say before the surgery is to educate yourself and educate those around you about the surgery, and make sure that that everybody is convinced that this is a harmless process.
And also I think it's very important that you get your people, your support mechanism on board with you, because then they matter a lot in terms of your decision making and all that. So what I've seen that usually is very effective in terms of propagating the message is that it's not only important to talk to the person in question, but it's also better to speak to the whole family altogether. So there would be questions that arise, and then when we actually tell them the reality, then they seem to understand much better, and then they support this particular person in question most of the time. So that way, I think a counseling session as a family, or the support group also is important.
Absolutely,
you would agree with
absolutely.
that?
And I remember when I came to see you for the first time, the only thing I had heard about Silver Line was one of my friends' father-in-law. He did this year, and my friend had suggested, when I told him that I wanted to go in for bariatrics, I am not revealing the names of the hospitals I went to, that I wanted to check. I was not convinced in those hospitals about what I would be going in for. Not with regard to the money that they charge, not with regard to the facilities they have, not with regard to the aftercare and all that. I was assured by my friend that Silver Line was good, and I strongly believe it after I came here. Silver Line was the best place to do this, and all thanks to you, sir, that when I came here. Your team, yes, obviously. All thanks to you and your team. For me, it was only Dr. Tom Babu I knew. And then I came to know everybody. Everybody was supportive. Even the nurses, I wouldn't know their names, but they were very friendly. The support staff, whoever it is, was really friendly. People in charge, safe, in management and admin, everybody was very friendly.
Now, just tell us a little bit of what you feel now, in terms of now that you've knocked off about 70 kilos.
Yeah.
What does it mean to you?
It was like an apocalypse. Like I rediscovered things. I have not gone to such what do I say, minimal size ever. Not as far as I can remember. I was always obese. Now my waist is like 40. It's 38 actually. 40 is loose for me, and my chest is like 42. And it's come to normal proportions. Like I'm kind of the slimmest person in my family. So it's good. It's a great feeling.
And do you kind of feel more positive now that you can achieve
Yeah,
a lot more in life?
Absolutely.
And,
Absolutely. I feel very positive. Not just about the way I move, the way I feel, not just the health part, the way I look, everything. Obviously, I was more. I always considered myself very healthy, even though I was obese. Now I feel even more because I live a healthy lifestyle. I eat only those kind of food that during this diet, that's the major part. The dietitian helped a lot because before the surgery you get a small hang of things like what you're going to expect after the surgery, what exactly is going to happen to your system. The only thing I myself found this theory about after sleeve surgery that your stomach is like in the stage of infancy.
Correct.
Like it's like you should treat your stomach like an infant.
it's a good analogy actually.
Yeah. So because if you have a baby in your house, first thing you feed the baby is something liquid, and then you move to something pureed.
Yeah.
Say all this baby food,
You wean them off.
and then you start out with solid food. The same thing happens to you over a period of months. Say for the first month it's all liquids, and there comes a point of time when your mouth actually yearns to eat something and chew something and eat like that. But I think your system completely forgets chewing and eating things, and then you train it, and you understand what food you eat. Say if you read, I research over the internet, then I understand that after the surgery, the diet that you need to follow, you need to include a lot of proteins in your diet. So make sure you have your proteins first, and then you go on to the rest, and cut off your carbohydrates. Like I can proudly say now, I don't know, I'm reaffirming with you. Maybe I don't know how many people have lost 70 kilos after doing this surgery.
Very few people
Yeah, so
60, 70
I reduced 70 kilos now. Now I'm 106.
You are legendary that way in terms of the amount of weight, and I think it has a lot to do with your resolve too. See, we can take you to that much, but if you want to stretch it beyond a point, then there's no limit. You could lose more, but then that is your personal effort. It has partly the surgical procedures helped you, but then it is your personal effort.
It's also, I would like to add to this, not just my personal effort, the support that you meant from the people at work. I said my stomach was like at its infancy and was to be treated like a baby. My mom and my father, my relatives, they helped me a lot in that, because you look at it in a different perspective. You are supposed to make sure your body doesn't go weak, because you are consuming so much and one fine day you're not consuming it all. So you need to make sure that you keep having healthy stuff. Say even if you're having liquids, make sure you have liquids like say orange juice, watermelon juice, cucumber juice, tender coconut. a major thing that is very easily available in Kerala,
Absolutely.
and the most nourishing drink ever. You keep having one glass of tender coconut every day, doesn't make you feel weak at all. So I made sure that juices in these proportions were taken on a regular basis, so that you never felt the need to have food, or never felt the what do I say, the satiety level. You were satisfied with what you ate, and then you move on to pureed food. The dietitian again comes back with your diet chart, pureed food. You move on to the pureed food. I think it happens over a period after 3 weeks.
Correct.
So then you get into the pureed food stage, and then you have pureed food. I don't think it's really easy to have pureed food, because you have chicken pureed, you have fish pureed and all that. It's very difficult. Only for a short while. Then you train your mouth gradually to chew things, and then you eat everything. You eat everything.
I also was interested in one particular aspect that I noticed with you, that after, in the process of losing weight like this and regaining your confidence, we spoke a lot about smoking cessation, giving up alcohol, and I could see that you had that resolve, and do you think it came from that positive mindset that now that you've been given a chance, that you wanted to give it all up, lead a new life and embrace life much more?
Absolutely. See, the thing is, once sorry doctor, say around 3 months, you don't notice that much of a change in your body. You remain the same person because you were overtly obese. So you don't come into that stage where you can yourself feel a change. So people might say you have reduced, you have shed some kilos. Fine. After the 4th month, you start reducing like heavily. In my case, it was like that. I started reducing heavily because I knew what I was eating. I knew what could make me reduce my weight, and at what pace I could reduce. That helped me reduce a lot, and then I start getting thinner, smaller. And when people around you say, "Oh my God, I'm shocked to see you. I couldn't recognize you." It's very, that keeps you motivated. That makes you feel like, great. I'll tell you, alcohol, I am not even interested now. I don't want to. It doesn't mean that I can't have it. I can. It's got a lot of calories. So I avoid it generally. So I don't. And smoking, well, main thing is, they used to say, whenever I used to, I remember some great sayer saying that it's easy to quit smoking. I've done it many times. So because it's easy to quit smoking and then you start again. So the thing is, a smoker like me, I was a chain smoker. I used to smoke a lot. So when I'm not saying like I don't know how long it will go on. Okay, till now I have not smoked. It's fine. It's been now the 8th or 10th month since I did my surgery, so I'm not smoking. So yeah, one thing they tell you, some of the Europeans tell me like that if you stop smoking, do things that makes you feel your lungs. Say run or go play something, and then you feel your lungs. Then you know, okay, how quitting smoking has helped you. So do something like that. So when I went to the gym, I knew the effect, and many other things. The normal thing that I'll tell you, not your hospital. Your hospital does not do that for your promotion. Say other hospitals, those I am not naming them. One of the hospitals I came across. The major thing is, how do you canvas for fat people to come to do the surgery? They highlight on your very dormant or very sad sex life. Okay, and
I remember watching a movie to that effect.
Yes, there was a movie.
Correct.
Recently released.
Correct.
So they say about that, and they bring in people so that you get, people to get reduce their weight, and and probably expect to have a great sex life after that. But on that count, I was not really at a loss even before the surgery, and after the surgery also no problem. So it's been, what do I say, one of the motivations like that people want to inflict upon you, say, want you to imbibe from these promotional ads is all these negative words. Not just that,
Yes.
a lot of things that happens. If life changes, one thing with fat people, we doze off, we sleep, because sometimes the body shuts down.
No, it's not because
Because of the sugar levels.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
And also you have something called obstructive sleep apnea. It's snoring.
Snoring.
So what happens during snoring is that your sleep gets cut off, but you don't notice that. And carbon dioxide builds up, and that makes you feel groggy during the day. That's why often
When you work,
when during the day, while at work or even while driving, you tend to doze off, you need accidents and stuff like that. That's partly because
That-
but now that must have.
that's not there at all. That's not there at all. So, thing is, now the thing is, if I have something in mind that if I smoke, all this can come back.
Exactly.
So I don't do that.
Exactly.
So because I'm enjoying whatever is happening right now. So say now there's perfectly no problem to work. You don't sleep off. Even if you sit in front of the computer for, let's say, at a stretch 4 hours, nothing, no problem. You take a break in between. You have a drink and come back. Always carry healthy drinks with you. I mean, I would say always rejuvenate yourself, hydrate yourself, never fall weak.
Yeah.
So keep a bottle of water.
Even tender coconut water is a good.
Tender coconut water is great. No, but if even in places where you don't get it,
Just water.
just water will do. And whatever drink of your choice, as long as it's not got like high, say, calories in it, you can have it. I mean, now that I've reduced 70 kilos, I've even had aerated stuff, say some fizzy drinks, but you can't consume much. You won't eat. You won't drink much. And now it's come to such a stage that I have everything in little quantity.
I think that's a point. In moderation, whatever you do in moderation will not do any damage to you, and then you can enjoy all the good things, but in moderation, isn't it?
One great confidence, I'll tell you, in the language of a common man, one great confidence that you get after this is, you know, you'll not put on weight. You will not put on
It's a
weight.
cure.
And you work for it. So you work for it, and you resolve in your mind that okay, you're not gonna put on weight, but you can't do things. I mean, like say you cannot eat heavily. You won't be able to. I mean, you can't say it's a con or there are pros and cons for the surgery. You can't term it under one bullet of the cons that you cannot overeat. It's just not a con anyway. It's why if you have done the surgery, you know that you shouldn't overeat.
As they say, everything in moderation is fine.
Everything
And this helps you to kind of moderate. Okay. So I think we'll wrap it up. And I think from what you've told me and from what I have grown wiser in knowing that there was you really needed help in terms of, and you'd realize that that is the way to go. And what did we do for you? We just educated you on what is it that the baseline weight can do to you in terms of your health and in terms of the long-term complications of obesity. And then after having armed yourself with a lot of knowledge from what we told you and from what you gathered from other sources like YouTube, etc., and then you convinced your parents and they were good enough to understand that you had this problem, and then you were brave enough to go through this, and now you've knocked off incredible 70 kilos, and then we can all see that you're enjoying the benefits and good health of taking that off. And not only that, the health is improved, but good things like this has motivated you to get off smoking, consuming alcohol in very moderate amounts. So I think from that point of view, we also as a treating team are very happy and very gratified that we were able to do that for you. And at the end of the day, I think this is what really drives us on in terms of seeing the benefits of what we do or what we help people achieve, and then that kind of eggs us on to move on.
Absolutely, doctor. I agree with whatever you say right now, whatever you've said, and I would like to add some more things about Silver Line Hospital in particular. The standards that you maintain are like state of the art. It's great. It's sophisticated. There's like a clear. What do I say? Everybody's clear on what they're doing. Like whoever it is, whatever staff it is, from the lowest to the topmost, everybody knows what they're doing, and they educate you. You don't simply fish for people. You don't say, okay, you do it like somehow in our profession sometimes some people do it like, say there's a thing that's impossible, we still say, okay fine, we'll do it. You get the things ready, I'll go to court and do it. Okay, you're simply giving false promises to people. You don't do that. You say, you educate the people, you counsel them, and then you ask them to take a step. You don't force them. You don't market yourself like that, obviously. But for me, yeah, I didn't need that. I was convinced. Once I spoke to you and I was convinced, and I had to convince people around me. I did that and I came here, and it was great. Even the people around me felt that it was great, because the kind of facilities that was available here, and the kind of care that was provided. And after care, say after the surgery, and then how you followed up on it. And I bonded with people here, I bonded with you, I bonded with some staff. That itself shows that, you create a bond with people here. You don't simply leave them off, like you don't treat them like subjects, like as a subject, and then you leave it off as a, once the thing is done, once the job is done. No, you don't treat them, you treat them like humans, you treat them like people, you treat them like people with feelings and not like robots, and you follow up with them, you recognize them wherever you see, and you make sure that you make them feel comfortable, and you are comfortable with them. That's a great thing with Silverline. And even those who have done anything from here, any surgery or come here for anything, have told me the same. So I think it's a great thing.
Thanks for me. We're going to put this up on the website for people to see what we could do, what you've done, and if that can touch people's lives, so be it.
Sure.
All right. Okay. Thanks for